Dublin manager Jim Gavin makes two late changes to his team. Johnny Cooper comes into the full back line for Eric Lowndes, while Colin Basquel takes the place of Jason Whelan in attack. Owen O'Gara starts at full forward, with Kevin McMenamin dropping out of the team. Aidan McCrory, Justin McMahon and Mark Bradley are late additions to Tyrone's starting 15. Jonathan Munro, Podge McNulty and Ronan O'Neill drop to the bench. Matty Donnelly is ruled out, but Niall Morgan is back in goal for the Ulster champions. Tyrone in front thanks to Peter Hart's free. They have a strong wind at their backs in this first half. Here's Niall Scully. He's made a huge impression for Dublin this year. Scully plays the ball in. Now it's Michael Dara McCauley thought about the shot. And it's come back out to Philly McMahon. And Philly McMahon slots the ball over the bar after 7 minutes. And that is Dublin's first point on a wet, cold night in Croke Park. Tyrone were very impressive in their win over Roscommon last week. Declan McClure now out to Conor Myler, and Myler gets his shot away, and they extend their lead by 3 points to 1, or do they? The umpire has signalled that that's gone over for a point, but Joe McQuillan, the referee, wants to use Hawkeye, and when the technology is there, why not be sure? And it is a point for Tyrone, and they lead by 3 to 1. James McCarthy dragged down by Tiernan McCann. Now the referee has taken the notebook out, and will Joe McQuillan see that as a deliberate pull down? And the answer is yes, he will, and Tiernan McCann is gone to a black card after 15 minutes. Here's Conor Myler. He plays his club football with Omagh. Tyrone haven't scored in, well, it's coming up on 20 minutes now. Here's Niall Sludden. Sludden takes that on and slots the ball over the bar. They lead by 4 points to 2. They've been the better side in the first 33 minutes of this game. Well, there's plenty of stuff going on off the ball. Here comes Niall Sludden, scored the last point in the game, and Sludden going clean through, and he's got another one. 2 in 2 minutes for the Dromore man. And Tyrone lead by 5 points to 2. And that's the score of the night. Brilliant football from Niall Sludden. Dublin have found it hard to find a way through this brilliantly drilled Tyrone defensive system. Here's Jack McCaffrey. That's gone straight up in the air. The wind is really strong. Owen O'Gara's under it. O'Gara got a touch. Paul Mannion can't bring it under control. There's Johnny Cooper, and that's gone over. The second member of the Dublin full back line to score. Just 3 points to show for their efforts in the first half. What a crowd of just over 28,000 here to see this game. Sean Kavanagh is on for Tyrone at the start of the second half. Conor Myler getting stuck there. Here is Sean Kavanagh with James McCarthy. Kavanagh flips the ball off, and it's pulled on by Declan McClure, and that's gone over. Nice score from Declan McClure. First point of the second half. Here's Philly McMahon. Now Brian Fenton, that position he loves to pop up in. Now it's Paul Mannion. Mannion slipped, somehow managed to get up so quickly. That was brilliant from Mannion, and then he's pushed. Referee, is he going to give a penalty? Yes, he is. Penalty for Dublin. Paul Mannion pushed. Sean Kavanagh was fairly close to him. I think Aidan McCrory as well. Penalty awarded. There's no Diarmuid Connolly on club duty this week with St. Vincent, so it's Dean Rock against Niall Morgan, and Morgan saves it. Morgan saves it. He snuck out off his line, but kept it out of the back of the net. Now Tyrone running straight at Dublin and getting some joy with it as well. Here's Aidan McCrory. McCrory goal! That's a huge move that Tyrone have made. Aidan McCrory up from the half-back line, put it under Stephen Cluxton. Well, Tyrone really with their tails up. Here's Cathal McCarran now, and McCarran has put that one wide. Well, the wide's well into double figures for Tyrone at this stage, but the linesman is on the field because he spotted something off the ball involving Mark Bradley and Johnny Cooper. That's the incident, or that's as much as we've seen. A yellow for Cooper and a straight red for Mark Bradley. Well, there obviously was more to that. The cameras didn't pick it up, but Mark Bradley has been sent off. Peter Hart, Tyrone down to 14 men. This is Rory Brennan. Brennan back to Niall Sludden. Got 2 fabulous points for Tyrone. Designs on a third, Niall Sludden, and he's done just that. That's a great score. And with 10 minutes to go, this 30-match unbeaten run is hanging by a thread. Kieran Kilkenny. And Kilkenny, oh, that's brilliant. That is a glorious point. After 62 minutes, he's the first Dublin forward to score from play. That's some statistic in its own right. They're a goal behind. James McCarthy having to go off injured. Dublin have used all their subs. They're down to 14 as well. Brian Fenton just hanging that one up there. Will it carry? Oh, yes, it will. Fabulous point from Brian Fenton off his weaker left side. Sean Kavanagh. Tyrone. Well, Kavanagh forced back towards his own goal. And Dublin putting a real squeeze on Tyrone, and somebody in a Tyrone jersey touched the ball on the ground. And a gift of a free kick for Dublin. Dean Rock out of the hands. And Rock scores the point. They're edging closer and closer. Not so long ago, they were 5 points down. And we've got 6 minutes of added time. Anything can happen in this game. Plenty of time left. Dublin just a point behind Mick Fitzsimons, and the referee has given a free in to Dublin. He's given a free in. There didn't seem to be a huge amount in this. It appeared he'd lost control of the ball, but the referee has given a free, and this is to bring Dublin level. A long way out for Dean Rock. The wind is helping. He's kept it lower. He's kept it lower, and it's gone over. And Dublin and Tyrone are level in the 74th minute. That's an outstanding free from Dean Rock. All the pressure. Is there a winner? Well, there won't be a winner tonight. There is the full-time whistle. An absorbing contest, as it always is, between Dublin and Tyrone. At Croke Park, it's finished. Dublin 10 points, Tyrone 1-7.
5 down, 20 minutes to go into the last quarter. Looked like it was running away from us, and they went very, very defensive, tried to deny us space, and our boys never give up. And there's a great mental resolve in that team, and I think once again it was shown tonight, particularly some of the newer players coming in, and they stuck with our system and our process, and very happy for that.
So then, honours even at Croke Park. I suppose, Tom, given this run that Dublin are on, it's extended every week that we seem to watch them. But do you think Tyrone would be happy to take a point out of it? Or, of course, apart from that last free, they might have won the game?
Yeah, I think Tyrone will probably be a bit disappointed, Michael, that they didn't win it. I think Tyrone frustrated Dublin for most of that game. They found it hard to break them down. They were very organised. Conditions were very, very difficult. But you have to. The Dubs were relentless in the last. They missed the penalty. They went 5 points down against a very, very organised Tyrone defence, and they still went for the jugular. They attacked, they attacked, and they attacked. And what a kick at the end! To draw it up. It was a phenomenal kick by Dean Rock. The confidence they're playing with. They're never beaten. And that's the confidence of champions, and they will be happy with the way they finished last night. Sure. But they were frustrated for a long time. Tyrone are a team that are emerging and getting more organised, and I can see them having a bigger impact this year than they had last year in the championship. It
is interesting to see the way Tyrone are going. We mentioned this, David, last year as well, the fact that they are the cutting edge. We've seen other counties kind of to rise up to the top and then slip away again.
Fade away. That's the third time that Mickey Hart has managed to draw with a Jim Galvin side since Jim Galvin's taken over. He knows he has a structure. They are getting stronger. They were unlucky last night, but you have to have the credit to Dublin. For me, I thought they were dead and buried at one stage. They looked tired. They looked fatigued. But mentally, Jim Galvin nearly broke out in a smile because he knew that they never give, they didn't give up. Yeah. And the younger players, for me, played very well as well.
They did, of course, Tyrone set up, Tomas, and how they put themselves into this game.
Yeah, look, I mean, we always talk about it. It's beyond me how organised they are, and as the defensive unit, they all tackle as one. You had Colm Kavanagh dropping in his usual role, where he covered space, any danger, he'd come out, attack it. Dublin, 62 minutes, I think, before Kieran Kilkenny got their first point from play. They really cracked them, and I think the one thing that they do struggle with, and something that Tyrone could possibly, you see it here, Michael, they have 3 lines basically in effect that you have to get through. And Dublin have great runners. James McCarthy is as strong as you'll get. They couldn't poke the holes in them. And Tyrone frustrated them time and time again. Here you see them turning over, and straight away most teams would go lateral. Tyrone attacks straight up. Niall Sludden gets it here and has to do a lot of work. This is one area, I think, where they could actually improve. They did kick a few wides and they could have seen themselves 4 or 5 points in the clear earlier had they taken chances. I think it's an area where they can improve, but I also think they are probably, you talk about the Donegal team of 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Tyrone are as defensively set up as well as any other team in the country. If they can complement that with more dangerous and potent attacking, they'd be a serious, serious threat.
There's no doubt about that, but at the same time, the two of you were saying there a few minutes ago that, you know, the way Dublin kept going, this, I think it was you, David, said, you know, the mark of champions, kind of, you know.
Look, for me, they're like the All Blacks. They're mentally strong. And, like, they were up against, you know, they were nearly gone last night. We're saying 31 games, no undefeated. But the process is simple. It's don't give up and never let up. And they didn't. This is with 3 minutes to go. Kieran Kilkenny made sure he didn't foul his man. But you know what? The one thing, the ball you want to give here is to give to Sean Cavanagh. But he actually runs across. For here, Michael Fitzsimons puts in an absolutely fantastic challenge. And from this, they generate such, I suppose, power in their own selves. Here, what they have here is width. Dublin keep a width in every play they have. They have, if they're in the corner, what they want to do is spread it wide, get it out, and as you can see, it goes to Fitzsimons, but on his left-hand side, he has Philly McMahon and it's also Kevin McMillan. It gives him the opportunity to run up the middle. Now, look, it's often enough free, but 50 metres out, I have to say,
soft enough free, but it wasn't a soft enough kick.
No, it wasn't. And look,
very tough.
Very tough. Stephen Cluxton has scored 1 point in the 31-game run. Because one reason, Dean Rock has stood up to the mark. For me, he is key. He's fulcrum to what Dublin do in play, especially in frees like he showed last night.
Sure. Let's have a look at some of the other results from the weekend. And